Right. Ta-da! Theme music to the end. Thank you. That's cheap enough. That's cheap enough. Hello. I was going to make a video. Well, I still am making a video. That's what this is. It's not a painting or a poem. It's a video. And I was going to review the recently completed, just over a week ago, the show series saga, The War Between the Land and the Sea, which is a spin-off for the Doctor Who universe, as they call it these days. And then I tried to make it earlier and realised I don't care. I don't care. It's just, why should anyone care? It's rubbish. It was absolute tripe. Well, tripe, that is more discarded bits of fish than to tripe, really. You had a man who was a clerk who accidentally became the ambassador to face some ocean-based creatures who wanted to complain that we'd made a mess of the seas. And then they turn up, and their ambassador was a ladyfish person, like a Atlantis person type of thing. As you'd imagine, somebody from living in the sea, bit scaly, bit blue, but fins on her ears instead of ears. And he thought to himself, "Oh, she's gorgeous. I like her. She's terrific." Or words to that effect. And cut a long story short, and it was a long story. Cut a long story short, everybody went mad, and the person in charge of the organisation he was working for ended up pointing again at somebody for dropping an empty bottle on the beach. Just after, the man who was the ambassador, who was really just a clerk. Well, I've been a clerk. It's not just a clerk. Everybody's important. He went off. His neck developed gills. Yes, I kid you not. And he and the fish woman he fancied, the Atlantis amphibian aqua kind they call it, they swam off together into the distance. It was that good or bad, whichever way you look at it. It was not a science fiction, it was a fantasy, and it was a specifically dirty fantasy based on interspecies sexual relations, and had no consistency of plot. It was full of ideas which were never resolved. It was full of information which was never resolved. There was contrasting and contrary situations where one moment the non-humans would turn up in fresh air, and the ground would lift up and they'd be standing on top of raised seabed going, "We got spears and we're going to make the rubbish." They made the rubbish fall on everybody. And the next minute, they're needing to go through a water pipe, which is specially built in short time into one of the buildings in the middle of London. Through the Thames, which they complained was dirty and poisonous. But when the man went down the Thames, swimming after the fish woman he fancied. Um, she said, "Oh, I've cleaned your, taken away the poison because of my special filtering system or something." So the creatures who were complaining about the poison and the pollution, one got rid of all the pollution by throwing it onto land in a couple of seconds, in a quick, minute or two, without any help from the humans. Two, they could filter it themselves through the special things in the gills, whatever. So it didn't affect them anyway. Three, the humans were able to filter thousands of gallons of water to get a pipe from the Thames into a specially constructed tank, which is of water, which they all swam in to arrive for the meetings with the humans. Need I say more? Not really, but I'm getting it off my chest. I got to get it off my system, because it's driving me crazy if you think about it. And that's the problem with current Doctor Who related things, is people, if they think about it, they realise this is absolute nonsense. You wouldn't get past an A-level English literature exam with this sort of rubbish. So, still, people got paid for it, and people said it is marvellous because people wanted to have a job with the writer of this programme, should we call it? But anyway, that's a side issue. It's all a side issue, actually. I wasn't going to speak as long as I have now. Nevertheless, we've had 5 episodes strung out about a organisation called UNIT, who were part of the Doctor Who system. And in the meantime, one of the Doctor Who's doctors, as it were, is living in the same city as the negotiations and all that's going on. He's down the road sitting in the garden or in the house of one of his companions, because he's retired and he's not doing it anymore. He's got a TARDIS, he's retired. I'm supposed to be enthusiastic about this show. I'm enthusiastic about what it used to be. I liked how it used to be. But now it's soap opera. No, I don't want to watch soap opera. I want to watch science fiction based on science, which has got some possibility to it. As far as, logic behind the science of it, it makes some sense, it all joins up. But the long title Behind the Sea, Down the Sea and Up Round the Bend was a bad show. It was mocked from the beginning. It's called The War Between the Land and Sea, which is the longest and most needlessly complicated title for a story. And I and others call it The War Between the Land and the Twee. Or some people just abbreviate it to The Fish Thing, which is pretty much what it was. And none of it added up. None of it made sense. It was a waste of time, waste of money. Not good. Not good at all. So there you have my opinion. What's your opinion? Comment below, like and subscribe and all that jazz. No, honestly, I wouldn't blame you if you hadn't watched this much. It wasn't a good show. But that's the state of British television at the moment. It used to be so much better. You look at the television for Christmas time and any time of the year, you'd have more quality. You'd have less content, but you have more quality. But there we are. I won't bore you anymore. I won't go on about it. It was a thing. Now it's a thing which has been shown, ridiculed, celebrated, laughed at, cried over, argued over, and now it's gone in the past, like everything else. So take care of yourselves. Don't argue about things which don't really matter. Well, not unless they matter to you, and you can do so politely. And have a lovely new year. It is 2026 soon, as I record this video. And it'll only be 2026 for 1 year, so make the most of it. All right. Bye-bye. 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 Adios.